No reason to delay it.
So does that count if I just read those short minutes? I guess it does.
Can you hear us?
Oh, he didn't make it in.
I can hear you, can you hear us? Okay.
Wait till 7.
You have to turn that up. He said at least everybody looks a lot better.
Oh, good.
Thanks.
Oh, I'm sorry. See, we don't have his sound right. Said, no, he looks a lot better.
That's what I thought he said. You just didn't want to share how bad you were at work.
We appreciate that.
This gavel should be on this side. Yep.
Did you?
I'm waiting till 7. As long as you're ready, right, Amy? All right, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Planning Commission, May 5th, 2022. Our first item here is the Pledge of Allegiance, so let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item is roll call. Amy?
Ms. Dobson?
Here.
Mr. Dutzman?
Here.
Mr. Earhart? Mr. Mitchell?
Here.
Mr. Aravalo?
Here.
Mr. Sly?
Here.
Ms. Squire?
Here.
Mr. Welsh? Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Amy. The next item is approval of the agenda. I think you sent out a revised number 2, right? For the agenda.
I did.
Okay, but I think the agenda is the same, so we just need a motion to approve the agenda unless there's any changes on your end.
Move that we approve the revised agenda.
Second.
Motion's been seconded to approve the revised agenda. Start the vote on the left.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion passes, let's see, 6-0. The next item is citizen participation. This is for anyone who wants to come up. We always encourage the public, if there's an item that's not on the agenda, or if it's not a public hearing. You know, if there's a public hearing, we'll definitely let you speak if you sign up on the sheet here at for the public hearings. If there's nobody that has anything to say other than what's on the agenda, we'll go ahead and go to the formal action. The first item on our formal action is approval of the minutes from April 7th meeting. Any issues with the minutes from the April 7th meeting? If not, I just need a motion. Now, I missed the meeting, but I read the minutes, so I think
I did the same.
I think we can still approve the minutes.
I tried to sign up to speak, but maybe I signed up on the wrong thing.
Are you speaking on the public hearing during the?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let you speak at that time.
great.
This is kind of for different items that aren't,
I
yeah.
just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
you're good. No, feel free to ask if you got any questions.
Yes, you do.
So I think we're back to the minutes. Now, those of us that weren't here last time, as long as we read the minutes, it's my understanding we can still approve the minutes. Is that correct, Mr. Dunley?
If you've read them and reviewed the meeting, you may approve the minutes.
Okay, thank you.
If you have not, if you have not reviewed what occurred at the meeting, then I would simply abstain.
Okay,
I move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Second.
okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting. It's been seconded. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 Motion passes 6-0. The next item is a public hearing, no, a site plan application. Number 2 on our agenda is site plan application, SP 19-2022, Carrier Logistics. Mr. Burton, you have the floor if he's gonna present, right? On the webinar.
Hang on.
So, we have SP 19-2022, and it's Carrier Logistics. It's on a 3-acre site. It's in the Cummins subdivision of 183rd and Webster. You can take a look at the site plan there, but I'll run through some of the information. All the lot lines and all have been well, first, this does fall within the M1 zoning district. And under the civils, you can see it's about a 3-acre site. It's a little over a 3-acre site, and it's 11,255 square foot building. They have also provided the landscaping plan with it. There's 39 parking stalls, standard stalls, and there's 41. The required parking stalls really 23 and 2. So actually it's 23 and 1 handicap, but so they have 39 and 2 handicap. So they've exceeded the parking requirements by not quite double. Then under the landscape plan, they've met all the requirements for the landscape requirements. As you see, they are calling out for some gravel storage in the very back part of it, which is an allowable use in the M1 district. The storm, the sanitary sewers is already put in, storm sewer, and all the other review items by the city's engineering firm have already been started, and most all their comments have already been met with the erosion control and things like that. There are 2 entrances coming into this, one off of 183rd, I believe it is. I'll have to look that real quick, and the other one off of Webster Street there. So I'll go back to 185th Terrace, I'm sorry, 185th Terrace. All of the requirements have been met in the aesthetic values of them. As you can see in your packet, that there is some brick and stone, well, they're showing stone, I'm sorry, on the front face of the building. And they've also put a little trellis top expanding across their front doors there. That will be pretty nice. And then as you go around the corner, they have placed some around the corner as well. And then you can see the overhead doors, and on the that would be the west elevation. North elevation is the one with the front doors and required to have. And then the south elevation, there's no requirements. And then on the east elevation, they've also wrapped some wainscot stone around the side of it there as well, underneath what we'll call the office area windows. So in that, let me run back to my original notes here. I apologize, it's a little different for me. Other than that, I believe everything else is according to code. Are there any questions?
Pat, is there on this area, is there a standard or in terms of where signage is going to be?
No, they did not. This does not have any type of standard signage on it in this area. Now, we are talking with Mr. Cummins right now, well, one of his representatives, about a sign that would go in at the front and list the different businesses and things like that. But, you know, it would have to be an awful large sign.
Mhm.
They're trying to figure out how they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Now, they do show a sign on this, a monument sign in front of their building off of Webster there. And if you go to the page, let's see, it's one of the pages on the civil there, and it's listed as M, and it's right off of Webster.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I don't have, I'm not there to pull it up for you, but it's on the civil drawings that you received. It's actually CO2 sheet.
Okay.
So what they would have to do though is they would have to, for any type of building sign, they would have to come in for a building or a sign permit for that and have to meet the criteria for the sign on the building. At this time, I don't see any.
Mr. Burton, am I missing the sidewalks?
Yeah, right. So they are going to have to put in the sidewalks there. That was one item that we had talked to them about. I think they actually did get them on the next civil sheet. Let me see here real quick. Yes, they've placed them on civils or on landscape plan. I'm sorry, LO1, and it's on the landscape plan. The sidewalks are shown. LO1 should be in your packet also.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. They seem to be doing a really nice job up in that area, and this meets all the code requirements for manufacturing or industrial.
So is that the sign?
That's what I don't,
Is that, where's the sidewalk?
It's right there. If you look at
oh, it's
LO,
under the legend.
I mean,
Areas,
Yeah.
it's your,
What is actually the
It's
sidewalk.
hard,
But if you look at the legend over
if you look at the legend,
you can see it.
and then
Well,
the coloring.
if you look at LO1, look at your landscape
Oh,
plan.
I see.
There it is, right
Yeah.
there.
And then you can see it coming off of the corner, and you can see it going both directions,
Yeah.
and how it's imprinted through the driveway entrances also.
Yep, sorry, Pat, I didn't see it because I didn't
problem.
zoom in.
Yep, not a problem. I was just trying to guide you to the correct sheet.
Is there gonna be any outdoor lighting on this?
There could be some, and if, as usual, we'll handle it through the building permit unless it's something beyond what we can typically handle. Most all of them on these, we've just been handling. Now, if they're gonna put them out in the parking area and all, let's say they're gonna put several of them out there, then we're back in the storage area, then we'll bring that back to planning commission after we see what they're gonna do on their layout. They really were not, they were undecided at the time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Just give us a minute here, or there might be other questions.
Oh, yeah, not a problem. I would like to also remind Planning Commission that this this site plan, building permit and all, they've asked for no incentives.
Okay, does anyone have any questions after reviewing it? If not, I think we're at the point of making a motion.
Motion to recommend approval of site plan application 2022 as presented by staff.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, it's been seconded to approve the site plan application SP 19-2022 Carrier Logistics as presented by staff. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. All right, the next,
Thank you.
thanks, Pat. The next three things are public hearings. And so I'm going to review real quick the public hearing procedure for the public, and just so everybody's clear. I'll open the public hearing, step one, and then we have to describe if there's any ex-parte communications with commissioners on this, or if the commissioners have any conflicts of interest. They must be disclosed and may possibly dismiss themselves. And then the staff presents a report and findings. And then the applicants also welcome to come up as well if they desire. They don't have to make a brief presentation. And then commission members will ask for any needed clarification from the applicant or the staff about this particular zoning. And then the public comments are solicited from the audience. So that's the point. If someone has signed up on any one of these rezoning, they can come up and talk. And then the next step is I would close the public hearing. And then we would deliberate amongst ourselves or have discussion, the commissioners would. And then last item is there's a 14-day protest period that begins after the public hearing is closed. So the first step is I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing. And then ask the commissioners here if there's any ex-parte communications concerning this particular rezoning, or if there's any conflicts of interest. And it doesn't look like there's any. Nope. So now, Mr. Burton, you have the floor to present your case.
Okay, thank you. So this is a rezoning from R1 to C2. It's 2.5 plus or minus acres, a single lot. It's zoning 14-2021. By looking at it in Golden versus the city of Overland Park and some of their standards of that and that are consistent with the use all through the state of Kansas, the proposed intended use on there, it is consistent with the future land use plan as far as the use in the area. The future land use plan actually shows a portion of it R1 and then a portion of it in the C or commercial type use district. Neighborhood characteristics as far as the area, it's a mixed use with the aquatic center, single family, multifamily, and then right along Webster across the street, there's CO districts or office districts. And then there's also one of the heavier commercial uses that you can use in the C2 district, and that's the storage. So then the adjacent zoning, I just went through that as well on R1, CO, and C2. Stability for the current zoning. The site is zoned single family, but along Webster, the future land use calls out some mixed uses. And as you can see on the future land use plan, all of the area along Webster is shown to be a commercial type zoning, mixed use. As well as along with the existing zoning as well. Request is based on a business model, and we have met with the developer on it, and what the use would be in compliance with or in conjunction with a use that would fit into a mixed use commercial. We're not allowed to, at this time, speak on what that use would be, but there is a site plan that will be coming shortly. Stability for the parcel to be used, the permitted use that they're asking for, and yes, what they are asking for, the first step of it is definitely a permitted use in the C2 zoning. Detrimental effects of the zoning change, we couldn't have, the staff looked at it and really could find no or anticipate any detrimental effects of this. But the aquatic center and then the uses already existing along Webster and all, we could not find any detriment to it. It's not correcting any error. The length of the time it's been single family. It was rezoned as it was rezoned as part of when they went in and I believe it was Mr. Moley, Frank Moley was doing a subdivision there, and they just broad stroke. He just went ahead and had single family placed everywhere, and then the aquatic center came in, and then some other properties along the way were split off and commercial uses. All the utilities are available there, the sewer and water, and there's even for a company, there's even high-speed internet there, or actually there's fiber there. Kansas Fiber has fiber there for businesses. Public gain. The development of this property helps support future, and it would, what the intended use is, would be more commerce for the community, as well as retail sales tax. I don't believe there's any hardship, but if anyone would like to speak to that, they're more than welcome to. And as I said, the conformance with the comprehensive plan, it generally does conform with comprehensive plan, although the comprehensive plan does show more of a mixed use on a residential, but the future land use shows a portion of this being commercial, and it only makes sense that it would be, the whole piece would be zone commercial. So you can approve it and have the final action sent to the governing body on the May 26th, or you can deny the application and it would still go to the governing body on the May 26th, or you can continue it and let the applicant know. Staff recommends the approval of zoning change 14-022.
Thank you. Mr. Burton. And this is just right next to the, when you turn into the aquatic center, right, that plot of land.
On the north side.
That's correct.
Yeah,
It's
so
the
that's
one that
the-
has the sign on it that
Yep.
says sold, and actually the developer that is developing the single-family residential in the back is utilizing some of that for notification of that new single family coming in. And the new ownership doesn't seem to, they're trying, I mean, they're willing to help, you know.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead and put it there and let's see if, you know.
Yeah, I think it seems like a good use for commercial to me, right in front of that aquatic center. Versus R1. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Burton?
The curb cut that's there, is that all the way through there? Is that supposed to be a street or is that alley easement?
Which one are you talking about now? I'm sorry.
There's a curb cut between
On the west
the
side.
property that we're talking about and the
Oh,
pool.
that's, right, that curb cut was put in, that, I believe that street will be put in with one of the developments of the, residential.
That's what I wondered. I didn't know if it was a street or if it was alley easement.
No, it's actually street,
Okay.
street right away. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Good question. Any other questions? I'll give you a minute if you want to look at it, or if there's any discussion, please bring it up.
Yes, please.
No, I think it makes sense to be, commercial, I mean, or business.
Yeah.
In there, cause I don't think anybody's gonna build residential homes necessarily in that small section.
Right.
And you are correct, that was looked at by the, residential developers that are starting development in that area. And they just couldn't make the price it work for what it, it's priced as a commercial property already.
Well, the dream is that that's all commercial along Webster anyway.
Yeah. That's correct.
All right. I think at this point, we do have a public hearing
Just,
here.
right, just so you know also, I can tell you, because it was asking me today, it's not a restaurant.
Yeah, we don't need to know that, right? So, I think if the applicant is welcome to come up and present, they don't have to, but they're welcome to.
Good evening, Chairman and Commission. Tim Austin with Iron Horse Development, Wichita, Kansas. I don't really have a presentation, but I wanted to let you know I was here. If anybody had any questions, be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I don't think I have any questions.
Thanks for
Anybody else?
coming.
Thanks.
Yeah, we
I
appreciate
brought,
it.
I brought some more rain with me.
Yeah, we noticed that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Now, the public's welcome to come up at this time, as long as there's no other questions that we have. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to comment on this? I don't believe anybody's signed up for this one. It doesn't look like it, so I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And now, if we don't have any other discussion, I'm just looking for a motion at this point.
Move that we recommend approval of Z 14-2022 to the governing body.
Second.
We have a motion that's been seconded to approve the rezoning application Z 14-2022 as presented by staff. Start the voting on the left.
Yes,
Aye.
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 Motion passes 6-0. All right, the next item is another public hearing. This is rezoning Z 15-2022, 207th Street in Ridgeview. Clayton Properties from RR to R1, Single Family Residential District. I'll go ahead and follow procedure here, so I'm gonna go ahead and open it up to the public. And now ask if there's any ex parte communications from commissioners involving this rezoning, or if there's any conflicts of interest from commissioners. No?
No.
So now, the next thing is, staff. Mr. Burton, you're welcome to present, the rezoning here.
Okay, thank you. Z 15-2022. It is a proposed rezoning from RR to R1, standard zoning, Clayton Properties, Summit Homes. Tom Smith is actually the owner of it, Phelps Engineering. It's 54.09 acres plus or minus tract, 138 lots and 4 tracks. It sits to the east of City Park property, so it's on the northwest corner of 207th and Ridgeview. We spoke about this property in other discussions on occasion, and the consistency with the proposed regulations and the intent, purpose, the use of the property, it is very consistent with the future land use plan, which calls out to be single family residence on this portion. And a rural residential type use is what is shown on the zoning right now. Neighborhood characteristics: the surrounding neighborhood is comprised of residential uses, and then right to the west of this is the park property, and then on farther to the west is the other property that we rezoned just not very long ago for more single family, and then I believe in that one there was also some fourplexes that were approved, connected living. So the adjacent parcels, I've talked about that, the zoning of the adjacent parcels. Stability for the current zoning: the site is currently zoned rural residential, and going through it again, that the future land use shows mixed residential. It also does show a portion in that area of being commercial, but in the for the future land use, it's just right on the very corner of it. And we are looking to sustain that maybe on the other side of Ridgeview or on the east side of Ridgeview. Have it on each corner just doesn't make sense, commercial. You can see the future land use plan there also in your packet. Request, it's just based on a business model. It only makes good sense to place residential uses against the uses that, the park ground use there. These developers, I'll say that here in just a little bit. The suitability, the zoning will allow for the development of single-family residentials, straight single-family, full-size lots. Detrimental effect is it doesn't impose any unfavorable development in the area or anything. There is no detrimental effect to the area. Everything's single family. There's not an error that's being corrected. It was actually zoned RR when it was brought into the city from the county. So it was a carry-on zoning. All utilities are available there. This piece of ground is part of the benefit district that has been participating in the benefit district where they took the sewer to the north. Public gain, and in the public gain of it is that more single-family housing and it does help build and not only sustain, but help grow the commercial development within the community. And then it will also it will help sustain and grow the commercial development in the areas that are already zoned commercial. So it would not be taking away from the areas in the downtown area or any of those areas. And this is really very close to the downtown area, actually, just down to Woodland and over. The hardship, I don't think there's a hardship. The applicant could speak to that, though, if there is. I've already spoke about how it does conform to the comprehensive plan, the general provisions of it, or general premises of it. Also, this developer has offered and is going to participate in the development and help the city develop that citywide park project through there. We would like to get that developed as soon as possible and start getting these connectivity trails connected to the entire community. And this is another good start. And with some others that are coming around here shortly, some other preliminary plats and all, there will be additional large track for us, for the city of Spring Hill, large tracts of park ground. And this will just be another good way to start connecting all these parcels together, and along the way provide not only for the community as exercise and use and all that, but also we'll start connecting these with walking ways and pathways and all to try and help connect the subdivisions to the school districts or to the school buildings, facilities, let me put it that way. So the alternatives is obviously approve it, send it to the governing body on the May 26th, deny and forward to the governing body on the May 26th, or continuance. Staff suggests approving and sending the approval request to the governing body.
Thank you, Mr. Burton. Is there any questions for Mr. Burton at this point? That following our guidelines here, the next item is the applicant or agent of the applicant is welcome to come up if you desire. Doug, come on.
Hi, good evening. Doug Oven with Phelps Engineering here tonight on behalf of Clayton Properties. Don't really have a presentation, just Clayton Properties is come to Spring Hill a couple years ago, developing Foxwood Ranch up off 191st Street. Really excited to be in Spring Hill. It's been a great market for them. So as well as that's gone, they've been looking for other properties. So this property's come up. They're really excited to have the potential to build here as well. Think this is a great fit for the land, fits the comp plan. So with that, if you guys have any questions, myself's here, Travis Roof from Summit's here as well. So we're here to stand for any questions.
Excellent. Does anybody have any questions for Doug at this point? No, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Let's see, now we following this, is there any other, I don't think we have any questions for the staff or applicant at this point. So now we have the public comment, so you're welcome to come up and talk about this item or the other rezoning if you want to wait. Charles, you signed up, right? Do you want to wait or?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till the next one.
Okay,
Or
yeah.
maybe even number 7.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, the next one is the rezone to RP1 and the other one, the 7's RP2, yeah. Okay, so he's gonna wait. So we don't have any other public comments, so I think if there's no other questions, I'll close the public hearing. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry, would you please, approach and state your name, ma'am? The microphone. No problem. The microphone records everything. It's, right up here at the.
Now, do we require her to write down her name and address or not on the? public?
She can state them
Okay,
here.
gotcha.
She
Oh,
doesn't
here it
need to write it down on that.
Okay,
Okay, I'm Ann Simmons. I live on 199th and Ridgeview. So this property that he's talking about now, Mr. Burton, is that down on 207th and Ridgeview on that? So if you're going south, it would be on the west side?
Yep.
Correct?
Yes, it is on the west side. It's right before the intersection. That's correct.
And that's only 54 acres there?
No.
Oh,
No.
I didn't think so.
There's 54 acres of it is being zoned R1, ma'am,
Oh, okay,
with 138 lots, if I remember correctly.
I got you. And then the park is west of that?
Yes, there's a park, the city has owned that for, probably, I'm going to say 10 years, and has never been able to develop it. And yes, there's the sewer line, the city acquired that park with the placement of the sewer line down through there.
Okay, I get it. Okay, thank you.
Amy,
you.
do you want to show her, is there a slide that we could pull up and show her where that park ground is?
I have it, yep.
yep.
It's there.
If you
Okay, all right,
if
thank
you.
you.
Look here, I can show you, it's easier here. So this whole strip is the parkland.
Over here, okay.
Just this,
And this is,
and this is their property.
and it goes west. Okay, I got you. Okay, cool. Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other public comment? I just want to make sure we see her. It does not appear to be, so I'll go ahead and close it to the public. And now, is there any other questions, discussion amongst commissioners? And if not, I think we're just looking for a motion at this point.
Move to recommend approval for rezoning request Z 15-22 as presented by staff.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion's been seconded to approve the rezoning application Z 15-2022 as presented by staff. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 Motion passes 6-0. Now the next rezoning is PZD, you're switching numbers on here, 16-2022. And this is 207th and Ridgeview again, Clayton Properties, rezoning RR to RP1, and that's planned single-family residential district. So I'll go ahead and open the hearing up to the public and then ask again if commissioners have any ex parte communications or conflicts of interest on this, and I think the answer is no from everybody, right? So then, Mr. Burton, you have the floor to present.
Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna look at real quick here. Right. So this is, hold on, sorry about that. Hold on 1 second here, I have to pull up something else. Apologize. Crazy. All right, so we have I'm waiting for it to load real quick. I'm sorry.
No
It's
problem.
really I actually pulled up the preliminary plat and I wanted to check with it also. So. All right. Okay, so this is Okay, we have PZD 16-2022. This is from RR Rural Residential to RP1 Planned Single Family District. And it's on the northwest corner again, same area, 207th and Ridgeview Road. This piece is 47.67 plus or minus acres, with proposing 219 lots with 3 tracks. A little bit of background on this is that in this area, we've been working with Clayton Properties, a division of Summit Homes, and they look at the area and what to try and do an area that will fit multiple different types of buyers and more of a mixed use type residential use on a property in what like the comp plan calls for. Try to accommodate several different types of homeowners in one piece. It's consistent with the purpose and the intent of the regulations regarding the RP1. Single plan residential subdivision, it's still single family homes, just with side yard setback in 5 instead of 7 foot. The surrounding neighborhood there, over to the west, it was approved for RP1 and also an RP3 use in there. So it will comply with the other neighborhoods that are going to be built. And it's a step away from the single families like Brookwood Farms. There's the single family buffer in there, and then it would go to the RP1 up to Ridgeview or to the east then of the property, to the eastern side of the property. The remainder of the area around in the area is rural residential for the adjacent property owners. For the current zoning, what they're proposing and what the comp plan shows as far as trying to do a mixed use, it does comply with that. Change of conditions is just what I spoke about earlier. They're trying to accommodate several different home buyers in the area. And I know that the last zoning that we had, and I said, not everyone likes to mow yards, and they're looking for smaller lots and all. And there was some pretty good snickering or whatever by the public. But since then, I've been to almost every community in the area and talked with their planning and all, and it's exactly what they're seeing. Matter of fact, they're seeing that in the metro area, there's this a little off track, but there's about a shortage of over 25,000 apartments right now, and a shortage of small lot housing that they figure in the 15 to 20,000 right now. This is the lowest inventory that's ever been recorded in since MLS has started on new homes or homes for sale. Stability of the market, we talked about that. It will help bring all different types of buyers to this area in the market as well. The proposed allows the development of many different, with greater density, many different styles. Now, the homes that they have shown, one of the things that we will talk to and discuss some more with them there's always a change. They change through different cycles. It does appear that, you know, the garage door is the main focus. Now, to try and offset that focus, they have placed some different styles of rock and stone and stucco and things like that to try and offset it. But we'll see if we, and we'll work with them and see if maybe there's a few other plans out there that the garage doesn't dominate. As they're showing 3 plans here now, they will be submitting additional plans that will go to the Planning Commission. But these are the 3 plans that they're trying to, if you look at it, there's a little bit of a modern look on one of them. Then you have more of a, well, actually 2 of them are fairly modern, and then kind of more of a standard 2-story type home. So they are looking into the market also as anticipating some younger buyers as well, I would think. No detrimental effect is that staff can anticipate in the area. Now I'll go ahead and talk about traffic right now under that detrimental effect. We've looked at all this, and as we all know, that there will be a reconstruction of 207th, and then also there's going to be starting in the CIP that we're showing a reconstruction of Ridgeview. We are talking with the county, and there'll be talks continuing to see if we can go ahead and just develop all of Ridgeview or reconstruct it in phases, or if they want to participate in that because one side's county. It's been zoned RR, as I said, since it was brought into the city limits. Facilities are adequate and available there. The public gain is, you know, the use of the property, as well as I've spoke before, to help commerce. Hardship would have to be addressed by the owner or applicant. And as far as conforming with the comprehensive plan, this really does conform with comprehensive plan as a portion of a whole subdivision that has a mixed use residential. The Planning Commission can approve it and send it to the 26th governing body meeting, deny it, and it would also go to the 26th governing body meeting, or continue it to a future meeting and tell the applicant what meeting. The staff recommends approval of PZD 16 2022. Entertain any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Burton.
Thank you.
So on 207th, not Ridgeview, is that a county road or is it split in half?
It's in half.
Okay.
And refresh my memory, Mr. Burton, was the plans to turn 207th into a major arterial starting 2024, or is it?
It's a minor arterial.
Minor, sorry.
And we are going to, the plans and surveying and all, start in 24, and maybe some construction in 24 as well, which some clearing and things like that. 25, really kicking gear. And yes, from Woodland to Ridgeview. We have talked to Summit Homes about this, and they would work with us and start off of Ridgeview so that we get 207th completed, and then would start connecting to 207th.
And a little further down at 207th and Webster, was there any plans to do like a different crossing right there, or is it going to stay the stop sign going onto Webster? Because a lot of people coming out of that neighborhood going onto Webster to the businesses, that's a rough area already.
Right. so the plan, the traffic study plan does show for some sort of controlled intersection there. It's almost needed now.
Right.
The signalization that we're putting in 199th and Webster right now, working through all the kinks on the city actually putting up, these will be the first signalizations that we will have to actually maintain and all. So I don't know if we'll do a signalization there. Most likely that will probably be a signalization intersection due to all the truck traffic. But it is being looked at, to answer your question, it is being looked at in along with all of the road improvement plans for the CIP as well as the CIP cars. I can't give you a date of when it's proposed to be, improved.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Burton, the drawing of the outline of the property is the same as the last one.
What's the entire piece is what they're showing.
So which part are we rezoning?
Well, you're rezoning 46 acres of it. Let me see.
Which 46 acres? That's my question.
Yeah, there's one of the things they sent, but I couldn't find it. It has kind of a picture of it, but that shows the, right, Pat? Cause it
Yeah.
I couldn't find it in the,
There's a plat map that.
where is
Preliminary.
is it on our computer?
Right.
Yes,
It's on a plat map there.
the preliminary plat.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's further down.
But
That
we haven't
kinda
got to
shows
that
it.
yet.
Yeah,
It's the only RP1 on the preliminary plat.
gotcha, yeah, that's where I saw it, the RP1.
I can't share it here, I don't think.
I think it's, northeast.
Let me tell you where it's at, just so you know.
That's the only, I couldn't find it either, that's the only one I found. Was the-
So if you look at your plat map, then it's the lots that are being shown as 50-foot frontages. And it starts,
Yeah.
I think, Amy, don't we have I thought we had a drawing also of, well, anyway, let me tell you where it starts. It's in the
I can't find it.
northeast corner of this property
Oh,
is where it is.
I can't see,
That's what I said, you can't see.
not
you
on
can't
this.
look-
At home when I
there's no-
zoomed in, at home I could zoom in and see it.
7, item number 7.
I'm looking at it.
On the preliminary?
No, at
Oh,
home
I
I was.
Is that on the preliminary stuff?
You have to look at the preliminary to,
I can look at the preliminary plat on item 7.
You can look at my deal.
It's just,
I
it's
can't
just
know where it's-
blurry is all Troy's. Oh, yeah, you can zoom in, yeah, you can see it now.
I did zoom in.
Yeah.
I'm at 300%.
It's northeast
But I can't
Yeah.
see which one's
That's what I
50
did at
feet.
home.
Can you tell me which ones are
As long as
50
you
feet?
zoom in.
'Cause I can't read that.
Well, it's, zoom out.
well, I can read you the numbers if you'd like me to.
So this is all RP, this is all RP1. Over there.
Yeah, if you zoom in, you can kind of see it, yeah.
I can see.
Sure you can. I mean, I'm zooming in on mine right
I
now.
can't see where it says 50 feet.
Oh, I thought you just meant the RP part. I just.
Oh,
So,
yeah, we thought you meant,
It's
where's it zoned
northwest
RP1?
corner, or the northeast corner of this property.
Okay.
I can barely see the
And
one
then
point. I
the,
can't
right
see.
below that to the south is what they're asking for the, RP2.
Right, we see, yeah, we
Okay.
see it. And this is 219 lots, right, Pat?
That's correct.
Okay. On 47 acres, 48, I guess.
Yes.
Mr. Burton, he's saying that our aging eyes cannot read the 50 numbers.
I don't think it's
The
Yeah.
five.
RP we
Oh.
can read is the
It's
50
not,
number.
it's,
Yeah, I'm having,
I can see,
I'm
I
having
can see the
trouble.
R1 and I can see the RP2,
can
but I
read the
certainly can't see
120,
where
I
it says
can't read
50
the
feet.
50.
Oh, yeah, on the plat.
right.
But anyway, I think that answers our question where it's getting rezoned, right, to RP1. And
No, RP2.
RP one.
Well, we're on RP one.
RP one, I'm sorry, yes, you're right. Gee, man, now I'm
Yep.
confused.
Sorry.
Doesn't take much though for me, so, yes. There are, 219 in lots, and 48 acres.
And with this, it might help too to, for the public, we explain that the difference between R1 and RP1 is.
Right, so our RP1 basically allows them to have a, less of a side yard setback. And then, but in exchange for that, the planning commission does get to approve the basic designs of the houses. So you get more lots with it obviously having closer side yard setbacks.
Thank you, Mr. Burton.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're still seeing if there's more questions, right?
So I can go into the economics of it also, where they're able to allow for the house. A lot of times what we're seeing is the same houses are being put on the RP or on the R1 that are on the RP one, but it allows them to adjust to have a little lower price or allow for some additional amenities because you're able to have a little less of a lot cost. And, you know, it's easy. It's really funny that you can sit and say, well, what does it give? $5,000 difference? You know, what's that? Well, and especially with the interest starting to climb up a little, 5,000 is going to be a lot, and it is a lot of money to a lot of people, especially in purchasing a home, or you know, so that it may only be 5,000 in some people's mind, but 5,000 a lot of times is the difference between renting or being able to purchase a home.
Yep. Is there any other questions at this point?
I would put it in the motion that if it is to be approved, that staff work with the developer and builder to have a few additional floor plans presented to the planning commission for something maybe that a little bit that where the garage is not the focal point.
I'll be honest, I was the one that called Pat on this, or Mr. Burton on that, because it's not just in the RP, it's in all of the residential homes, because that was one of the biggest goals and one of the complaints that had been brought up about all of our housing is we're seeing nothing but garage doors. Everything is garage doors towards the street, and we're not having a neighborhood-friendly front door atmosphere anymore, and that more of the residents wanted to see the front door and the front porch look, and let's bring back more of that hometown community feel. And again, every one of these is the garage door. That's what you're seeing. You're not seeing any. And so personally, not only in the RP, but in the residential, I'd like to see more front doors and porches and I don't know what.
Overall, yes, and this is a developer and builder that, you know, we can work with very well. They've worked with us great in the past. And I believe that, you know, we can try and get a little more feel out of these homes. And actually all the developers, you know, we can talk to them and see if there's some changes that can be made.
And personally, I agree. I just don't think it's appealing when you drive down the street and that's all you see is garage doors and garage doors.
Yeah, I agree with you, Cindy. The first thing that popped out was that one with the garage door. But, the others were okay, but the one was like, that's all it was, right?
It is nice to be able to see a front door and somebody sitting on the porch and if we're gonna continue to keep Spring Hill unique, then those are some of the little things that I feel like we can do to.
Now, you do realize that most people don't even open their windows the entire time they live in the houses, don't you?
No, because we do, and we have our chairs on our front porch. But
That's why people are sitting in their garages.
yeah, a lot of,
Exactly.
they do. They sit in their garage. They open that garage door up. But if you had a front porch, maybe they'd sit on the front porch.
That's right.
Maybe. You're right.
Those
But
front
anyway,
porches, you can
I
barely
think-
walk up on them with two people.
I think it would be fair, if the planning commission were to, place that in a motion, in with the motion, and I foresee no problem in working with the developer. Now, I'm not saying that he's gonna be able to get all these houses to be able to do that, but, maybe a couple of them, we can change it up and see how that goes.
Right, so we could have that in the motion to see a variety, right? If,
Right,
Yeah, Troy.
yes,
More designs, more models.
right, we'll bring them back to you. It's a good start on trying to get that going
Well, as we can do
anyway,
is
and I do
try.
agree with,
yeah,
it's not just the RP or the planned districts or anything. We're seeing a lot of it in general in all the homes that are being built,
Yes.
constructed.
Yes.
okay, do we have any other questions for Mr. Burton? If not, the applicant is welcome to come up, and I think,
You did.
if you already did. But I mean, he's welcome to come up again. If you want to, Doug, you can come up.
He looks defeated.
No,
No, he's,
no problem. It's nothing really to add other from, from Clayton's standpoint from, what we talked about with the straight R1. As far as just, the discussion about the garage doors and everything, just with the lot widths, it does hinder options, what you can do with those garages. So we will commit to working with that. I don't know if that's something we do with final plat, bring in, between now and final plat, work on that. There's other things we can try and do with the garage doors with architectural features on the garage doors, try and dress them up.
Hold the front door out.
Yep. And we'll see what we can do there. I know it creates a long hallway sometimes. It's just a bunch of unusable space. So that's the hard part about doing that on these, but we'll commit to working with staff between now and final plat and see if we can bring some options to you that, work best for everybody to dress these up best we can. So with that, that's all I have on this hearing.
Thanks.
all right. Thank you, Doug. All right, with that, now we have if there's no other questions for the staff or the applicant, we now have public comment. If you're welcome to come up at this time or wait for the next one, the RP2. You can come up at both if you want.
Okay, my name is Charles Morse. I live at 18460 South Ridgeview. The good news is I'm not going to present, and I don't have a lawyer here tonight, so it's going to be easy. I mainly wanted to make one point, but I have two total. The second one's a little longer, but the first one is my main point and a concession request by the Planning Commission. So on page 34 of the Comprehensive Plan, Chapter 4, Future Land Use, it says, transitioning of urban residential development adjacent to rural large lot properties requires additional sensitivity and development design. When planning and designing a neighborhood with urban-sized lots adjacent to large lot rural areas, conflicts should be minimized through development layout, lot sizes, density, landscaping, and other appropriate design elements. So my question is, what design elements are in this proposal that demonstrate this additional sensitivity to the adjoining rural properties as required by the plan? On the north side of this 132 acres from west to east, there is a 36-acre property owned by Joseph and Ashley Grossman, a 17-acre property owned by Gregory and Patricia Lodick, a 20-acre property owned by Anna Henry and Jason Taylor, and a 10-acre property owned by Jeffrey and Mallory Briggs, who just recently moved to our area. At a minimum, my suggestion is that the Planning Commission require a protected tree easement for all the trees that are on that northern property line, because a lot of times the homeowners and the developers will take those down if they're on their side. And that's really the only buffer. There's no buffer at all in this plan if you look at the plat. I mean, none. And there really should be. And I have a feeling that the description of urban-sized lots in the comprehensive plan is probably referring to 75-foot wide lots, which is a traditional urban lot. These are 30 and 40-foot lots. So this is double the density that, you know, would typically be in a single-family residential area. That's my main point and request. You guys can request that the developer come back with some additional sensitivity in their design, and at a minimum protect the trees and have that as a requirement. The other one is just a little bit of commentary, my other point. Don't know if you guys have noticed, but at Woodland Crossing to the west on 207th Street, Woodland Crossing South that was recently approved, there's a sign now that's up front that says eluxcommunity.com. It's a build for rent, single-family home community. So there's 498 rental units now. They're just west of this location. So it's interesting. And this would be another 487 units, less than half a mile away. So you're talking about nearly 1,000 more doors, generating by the traffic study between 8,000 and 10,000 trips a day. So I think Mr. Burton touched on the improvements needed to Ridgeview and 207th, but I think that's something that should be prioritized, and certainly sidewalks and bike lanes for the people who are going to be trying to get to town from these new developments. And it's also interesting that you guys know more than I do, but you know, if I look at it, I think this could be the highest single-family density of development anywhere in Spring Hill, and it's on the wrong side of the railroad tracks, if you will, to getting to town. So it's going to be interesting, the traffic that's going to occur there, and there's obviously some safety issues. One note that I wanted to share, of course, my computer went to sleep while I was talking.
While you're bringing that back up, will you, Mr. Morris, do you mind stating again, Elux what?
It's eluxcommunity.com. So it's a new sign that they have on Woodland Crossing, which will be connected to Woodland Crossing South, which was the RP1 and RP3 recently approved. And on their website, it's, I'm sorry, I have it wrong, eluxcommunities, plural.com. Their website says Woodland Crossing will be the first Elux build for rent single-family community in the growing suburb of Spring Hill, Kansas. So it's interesting, and I know, I think you guys have addressed this before, that we don't know at this stage whether there'll be rentals or not. We just, you know, we don't have that information going into it, but now we do, and you know that there's 487 that are less than half a mile away. The other point I wanted to make is that Clayton Properties and Summit Homes, they have several developments in Kansas City that are very similar to this, called Clove and Hive. And those are inexpensive, small lot homes and duplexes on small lots. There's 4 existing developments in Kansas City. None of them are in a location like this, like Spring Hill. 2 of them face a divided highway, which is able to carry a lot of traffic. And then 2 are on type 1 minor arterial roads with very little traffic, tucked away from everything else. All of those existing 4 are smaller than this proposed development, and none abut to existing rural residences. And I'll just go through those real quick, and that'll close out my comments. They have Edgewater in Blue Springs. It's on a divided highway, Highway 7, and it's also on a divided dead-end road. They have Eastbrook in Raymore. That one fronts a divided highway, which is 150 highway, with extensive established single-family home development nearby, apartments and commercial properties. The third one is close by to us. It's South Point and Overland Park. In that one, the RP1 is the overwhelming minority of the development. There's large single-family homes up front, which look nice. It was a greenfield development with no existing rural residences or properties nearby. And it's on Flum, which is a type 1 minor arterial road with very minimal traffic and far fewer doors than this proposal is. And then the last one is Eastbrook and Raymore. And that one is a part of the Creekmore development, golf course community. But it was built on a small leftover parcel on the east side of that that's completely isolated from the rest of it. And it's also on a very minor road with, I mean, I would say fewer than 50 residences. So it doesn't create a traffic issue. So if we approve this, we're going to be the first to do something this large. And I think 207th it's going to require a lot of investment to be safe, and Ridgeview as well for the community. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Is there any other public comment at this point? Does anybody have more? Is there any more questions after Mr. Morris's comments, or I'm not sure if Mr. Burton wants to address any of those comments or not.
Mr. Burton, what is your comment relating to being the larger lots versus putting these highly dense houses right next door?
You mean, well, what I find interesting is that I haven't heard anything from the adjoining neighbors. You know, we haven't had any comments at all. And then in talking with, we do know that this density is going to create traffic, as you well know that we've been working on that. Luckily, it'll be built in phases. It all won't be built at one time. And overall, the amount of traffic that down there at Ridgeview, where all the schools come together, the amount of traffic there is very large, and we're working on that as well. So yes, there is traffic, but you know, we've told everybody we're working on plans in that whole area and have committed already to 207th and Ridgeview on some of it, and Woodland. As far as the other comments, I don't have anything to add to those.
Okay.
Mr. Burton, this may put you on the spot and you may not know,
No. Go
so
ahead.
forgive me for that. When I'm looking at some of these lots, they are small. But my question for comparison is, and I'm lacking a name, so I'm just gonna go back to old name properties. What's some of our lot sizes and some of the smaller lot sizes at the other hang on, at the other Sudart, across the street from Sudart's? Down on
Right,
South Street.
45s.
What?
Those are 45 foot wide.
What was the name of the property?
Oakwoods?
Is that,
Oakwood.
yeah, I think it is Oakwood.
Oakwood.
It is Oakwoods. And
45?
those are 45 foot wide. Now what you're looking at is the 30 foot and those, that is not at the building line. So I just ran into this the other day where the guy came in and told me that there was a 40 foot lot on a cul-de-sac down there. And I said, it can't be. There's no way. Because at the building line, now, so you go back at the building line and it was 70 foot. It was a standard R1. So when you're looking at this, and Planning Commission should already know this, that at the building line is where your lot dimension is at. Doug, can you address at the building line the lot dimensions on those?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a drawing ahead of getting to the preliminary plat, but I know what you're referring to is at the cul-de-sacs where you have the pie-shaped lots. At the,
Yes.
you know, pies, small end of the pies at the cul-de-sac, the large end of the pies at the back.
But this is
Yeah, we can see the
Okay.
preliminary plan on our screens. We have to zoom in,
This
but
is
yeah.
like showing a 34 and a 35 and a 37.
Yeah, so there's kind of two, in the RP one, there's two market points. There's a 50-foot lot and there's a 40-foot lot. So the ones that, if there's some 30s, I assume that they're gonna be the 40-foot lots that,
The back
at,
of the lot.
at the back of the lot, so it's pied the other way, but, so we've got 40 feet either at the,
Okay, that makes sense, okay.
either where the back, if it's pied towards the
Right.
back, getting skinnier, then it's
Right.
where the back of the house gonna sits at least 40
Right, that makes
to
sense.
accommodate the house, and it could pie down from there as it gets to the back lot line.
But, and then the front of it's 40.
Yes.
Right.
We make sure at the build lines that we've got either the front build line or the back build line, it's got the necessary width to accommodate the house.
So these lots are mostly a 40 and 50 build line.
In the RP one, yes, yep.
And what's the code, refresh my memory, Mr., for the minimum lot size for the RP one, they go by square feet, don't they?
In the RP pad, is there a minimum?
No, there is
I
not.
didn't think there was.
Oh, there's no,
In the R one, I think there is, but when you get to the plan development, there's no
9,000
minimum.
R1, yes.
I got you,
But when you get to a planned district, no.
okay,
And that's where, now remember, we'll have the final plat on this.
Yep.
That we'll be able to look at and, well, we are gonna look at it, and if there's some adjustment that needs to be made, then we can make it.
But Oakwood's smallest was a 45.
They have some, yes. Well, in the single families there, well, and then the other single families they did, the newest single families they did are on 40 foot. All the rest of them, the smallest was 45, and they just had a handful of those. But the new ones right there behind it was going to be townhomes, and they ended up putting single families in there in Oakwood.
Right,
Those are 40s.
yeah, it looks like,
but there weren't that many, there was less than 10 of them.
Yeah, there's not many 40s in the regular overall. Most of them are 50s. I mean, 45s, I'm sorry.
So, give me an idea of a square footage on a 40-foot lot.
You know what the square footage of the house is?
Just,
oh, no,
Just give me, ballpark, I'm just trying to
the
figure
lot.
out.
just a
Of the-
lot, just,
Of the lot,
yeah, we shouldn't ask you this square foot.
40 by 120, these are all,
If we're looking at rezoning to
or 40 by 120 is gonna be the average.
We can't ask the square foot of that.
Right, I'm just trying to,
but I'm asking
The
for
lot,
lots.
those two, that's what I said,
Well, 40 by 120 is 4,800 square foot.
I can't do that in my head, sitting here after teaching kids all day.
120 times 40, is that what you're saying?
Is that 4,800, right?
4,800?
4,800, that's correct.
It's kind of-
Yeah. 4,800, so, yeah, and then I think it's like 5,000, close to that for R1, so it's not much smaller than that, is
That's
it?
kind of, I was supposed,
Yeah,
What is the setbacks from the edge of the lot for the houses?
Edge of, you mean the
setbacks
side?
From, yeah, on the sides.
Side is 5 foot,
So at 40 foot, now you're down to a 30-foot wide house?
most likely. And you can see that in those drawings, why the garage is so prevalent.
yeah, because they're narrow
I get-
lots.
I get that, I understand, I understand.
Yeah,
the
no, I was
garage
just
thing.
answering, the question of, yes, you would have a 30-foot wide house. Or you could reduce it down to a single-car garage,
Yeah,
you know.
So you're saying that there's 40-foot wide lots. What is it at the build line?
It's always gonna be 40 foot at the build line.
Right.
At the build line. That's the minimum.
Just to, for example, if you look at 349, it looks like it's 36 in the front is what the dimension is at the street, but at the build line, it would be 40 feet there. And it's kind of a pied lot towards the front.
I'm looking like lot 281, and is 35 and 42.
Yeah, you're exactly where I'm at, Troy.
Which lot was it?
281.
Sorry, Troy.
Yeah.
So 281, so in the front of 281, there's two dimensions. There's a 36 and a 4.
Yeah.
Because we're hitting part of it's dimensioning with the straight part of that
Oh, so
lot
it's
plus the
39.
part that's in the curve, so.
Oh.
And the one
Add 'em
beside
up
it
and
is
it's 40.
36 though.
Huh?
The one
Come
beside it is
on,
36.
guys. We
I mean,
know how to read
it is
these
wider
plats.
at the back.
Yeah, it's because it's a pie shape. It's 40 at the build line.
Yeah, you have a dimensional layer of 39 out there with a 35 and a 4. 42 at the back.
I'd rather see some single car garages on some of those.
And it might be a case where they do have to do that or choose to do that and bring some different plans back. That would also help with some of the pricing. It's just that, if we would have brought single cars in immediately, there's going to be a complaint about that. There's a complaint about everything,
Oh,
it seems like.
absolutely. We all know that.
But no, I'm serious.
No, I do too. I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and it is good to try to create, and I'll use the term affordable housing that is highly needed for young people that can't buy a first home. They cannot afford it. My daughter's
A
one of
lot
them,
of older people that can't as well.
can't afford them. So,
Well, there's just plain people that want to downsize.
oh, yeah, that too.
I mean,
Well, when we look at the square footage, when I look at the 40, and then 120 feet, 4,800, it's not that much smaller than the minimum size for the R1, which is like a little over 5,000 square feet, I think. Correct, Pat?
Well,
So I think, I don't know,
it's higher than
It
that.
looks
but,
pretty- yeah.
What we're looking at is also, if there are some adjustments that you want made, this is the time to say, okay, you know what? We'd rather see everything 45-foot lots. The problem with it is, and I know we're, squeezing a lot of houses in and all, but, it's the only way to make it work affordably right now.
My only question is, Pat, is that the places where you're squeezing the most houses in are the closest to the largest lots outside of this? The neighbors to the north there?
Yeah. Have you talked to them?
I have not talked to them. That would
No, I
be,
haven't either.
that would be a conflict of interest for me to go talk to them. So
No,
that's,
it's not.
but I'm just saying what was brought forth with the accommodations for having the tree line stuff. And you're putting that doesn't seem like it's an accommodation if you're putting the highest density houses next to, literally right next to the larger lots next door.
Well, the thing about it is, even your R1 lots are going to be considered extremely small in comparison to your larger lots.
Correct. So by putting RP1 and putting them at 40-foot wide, that's even more so. You're making the extreme even greater.
I can't argue with, yeah.
I mean, I'm just talking about what Charles was saying with the size, what's in our master plan.
Okay,
Well, am I hearing that wrong? Is it incorrect what I'm talking about?
it's, if you want a tree line there, then I would say, you'd have to ask for a tree line there of some sort. This is no different than most of all the subdivisions that are being put in everywhere in our community. We have all the same stuff at Prairie Ridge. We have all the same stuff at Brookwood Farms. Right next to Brookwood Farms, we put a road next to those. We've right at Boulder Springs on the north side. I guess I don't understand of how these intentions all of a sudden change when, no one has said anything about it. No property owner has complained one bit. I even know one of them there, and he'd be happy to sell his place, and he might put it up for sale. And it's not just because of the subdivision. I mean, the whole community's growing. If you can help me understand what has changed, and I'm sure that, they would be willing to accommodate some sort of tree line. But then, we also, our code says that we have to be able to connect to the next property and the next property and the next property through, a road system, which we do every time. So, whatever the planning commission so desires.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What are some other commissioners' thoughts? What are your thoughts, if you wanted to,
Well, I guess my, sort of like Pat is saying, I mean, there's a road in between those properties. The chances are is that Ridgeview is going to be even widened even more. So, it's not like they're 2 feet away from each other. And most of those larger homes are at least set back, I assume at least 50 feet from the roadway.
and what are your thoughts on the density and the lot size?
Well, I'd like to see the lot size a little bigger, maybe to 45.
And I think that, one of the comments was the cost goes up quite a bit, right? Is that what you were saying, Pat? To increase that, but that,
Well, excuse me. Well, yes, but here's what I mean. At this stage, we could agree to, the rezoning, and say when you bring us the final plat, it at the building line must be 45 foot. If that's the magic number that would help, accommodate a little larger lot, if that helps in, I don't know, the mental part of it or whatever the case is. But then that would be a direction that they would have to do, when they bring the final plat for each phase, then it would have to accommodate 45 foot at the building line. That it'll reduce the number of lots. I don't think it'll reduce by a great number, but it will, and we can work with them on it, and it's within your realm to do that. So, we just don't want to see less than 45 foot at the building line.
okay.
60.
One out of every dime.
No, I think somebody, you had a,
40 foot or less.
before we get too far, I think she actually wanted to, I didn't close the public hearing yet. Did you want to make a comment, ma'am? She raised her hand, I thought. Did you want to make a comment? Sorry, we got sidetracked.
Well, wait a minute, I do want to say something.
Okay, yeah.
Do I have to come up?
Yeah, you gotta come up again. Sorry, same process.
It's okay, we're just.
When Mr. Morris spoke about all of this, I've lived here for over 30 years. and I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot. I'm not in the city of Spring Hill, so I don't get letters, I don't get notices, I don't get anything. It's a big surprise to me when anything happens, you know? So, I don't know how long you've been here, but you've been here a long time, haven't you? Yeah. And, the thing that really bothers me about all of this, I know that places have to be developed and growth is great, you know, for a place, if it's in the right way. I'm sorry, I'm hoarse because I'm a traffic manager, so it's like I yell at truck drivers all the time, but anyway, so what I'm trying to say is Spring Hill is awesome. You know, my kids went to school here, we rodeoed here, we did everything here. And and we moved from the city, and it's great. But I agree with Mr. Morris, and you asked him, I think it was Mr. Burton said that he hadn't heard any of the residents in that area, you know, approach him or, you know, talk to him about it. Was probably because we live in the county and we don't get notices.
Oh, they have to.
Just to be clear, people who are outside of the, well, Pat, I think we're both going at the same time. Let me start
Go
with this
ahead,
one.
Chuck, explain.
Adjacent property owners within the
I was
city.
put in the county, Chuck.
I got it, Pat. Is two things. One, within the city, it means within 200 feet. If they are outside the city, which means in the county, then it's 1,000 feet is considered adjacent. And all of those people who are outside of the city of Spring Hill that live within 1,000 feet of the proposed rezoning are provided notice. So actually 5 times the distance if you're in the county instead of the city, and you receive notice, and those are considered adjacent property owners.
Well, I will dispute that because.
Okay, and
Because, and I'm not gonna fight this battle here, but every time something has been going on 199th Street, I did never get notice ahead of time until it was like, bam, we're here, we're gonna do this, you know? And I don't come to the meetings here because of one reason is because of just like right now. You know, I get very defensive about Spring Hill because a lot of the people that are coming into this town don't know this town. And like, I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Mrs. Squire,
Huh?
Cindy Squire.
Cindy. She knows the front porch stuff. You know, she knows the front porch stuff, and I totally agree with her. I mean, the houses that are being built here, some of them are beautiful. But when you drive up on them and you do see a garage door, you're like, I just bought this house for $600,000 and I have a garage door in my front yard. You know, that would not make me happy, you know. But the people of Spring Hill that have been here forever, we're proud of this town and we want it to stay that way. And, you know, we're getting developers, and I'm not attacking you guys or, you know, don't take anything personal. So there's a lot of developers in the city and they're all merging on us, you know, and everything looks good to all of us because, or to a lot of people because of the money that's coming in here. But like Mr. Morris said, everything's on the east side of the railroad tracks. Okay. On the corner of 199th and Ridgeview, as you know, the roundabout's in my front yard now. So there's a lot of wrecks there all the time still, you know. When all this starts and all that residential gets built in there, it's gonna get worse. Plus, our money that we're spending in Spring Hill is, I mean, that people are buying in Spring Hill, they're not gonna shop here. They're not gonna shop here. They're not gonna spend their money up in town because they don't wanna fight the railroad tracks. You know, and anyway, I better get off of this because I'm probably gonna have a heart attack in the middle of all this. But anyway, I'm very, very.
Where do you live at, ma'am?
Spring Hill. Very protective of Spring Hill.
Where do you live at, ma'am?
I don't know if I wanna tell you.
I think I know.
No, you probably already know. It's,
Wait.
I'm on 199th and
Purchase right away
Ridgeview.
and all from you?
What?
We had to purchase right away and everything from you on the corner?
To build my, yeah, so you could put the roundabout in my yard. Yeah, But
Okay,
anyway, so-
and I'm sorry, I don't know your name. I do know your son, though.
my name's Ann Simmons.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Simmons.
Okay, but anyway, so, you know, and I'm living with that and it's fine now, but it's like, just, you know, I don't know who you all are because I don't come to these meetings, but, just protect us, you know, protect us. Don't just rubber stamp stuff and let stuff pass. Just think about all of us, you know? So, anyway, thank you.
All right, thank you. So I think I'll close it to the public now, and we can have more discussion here about this, because we obviously have to, before we have any motions, but,
So I'll start it off.
go ahead.
I'm not opposed to the RP1. Matter of fact, I like RP1 because it gives us a lot more control over what we've able to encourage, negotiate with the builders and stuff like that. So I'm not opposed to the RP1. I do have an issue when they start getting really, really narrow. That's getting pretty darn small.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't know if adding a few extra feet will raise the cost of the lot that much. It might be a bigger house on that bigger lot that might raise the cost, but.
Well, looking at the, I mean, I know we're not doing the plats yet, but looking at the part that I'm talking about on the very northeast corner, there's 18 lots across there, and you're gonna minimize 2 of them if you make them 45 feet. You're gonna have 6 or 8 instead of 18. You'll have 16.
You're roughly eliminating 1 for every 9.
Yeah,
That's if you're adding 5 more feet to each lot.
that's right. And I don't know if, and I'm trying to think back at some of the other subdivisions, and I don't remember any lots this,
I don't remember any lots ever being this small.
not this skinny,
Right.
maybe. They're
Now,
more
The closest one I
rectangular.
could think of was the one by Suarez, and I still again forgot.
Oakwoods.
Oakwood?
Yeah, there's none this thin and narrow.
And
Hence the reason for the garage in the front area.
right. And
Door,
so, I
garage
mean,
door.
that's only part of the conversation of what we're having. We're talking about whether the rezone at RP1. And I don't want to give the impression I'm not in favor of RP1 because I am. But but when we get to that part, I will have an issue with that.
I agree with Troy.
Right.
And I think the only thing that's gonna make it look any better is to go to single car garages, and that's maybe not something that's as popular that people
Or at
want
least
anymore.
maybe have them bring it to us to see what it looks like.
I mean, I just,
If it's RP1, we can.
Yeah, we can. So the good thing is we can see all those different designs, as Pat mentioned, and we can say, let's see what that would look like, if that's a option or not, and we can review those.
I mean, I'm not in favor of 40-foot lots, and some of them
Yeah.
are a little bit less. I don't like
Well,
that. I think it's starting
just-
to look like we're
Go ahead.
really pushing.
Just put your minimum then at 45. I mean, that's
Right.
a
But I'm saying,
choice you have.
I do also understand that
We
we're
would do
looking
that,
for some diversity, and if there's some places in there, I guess what I'm trying to say is if, in redesigning it, if we would ask for them to, if we all agreed that we wanted 45, if there was some places in there that it doesn't work, and it comes down to, there's
Right.
5 lots that have to be 40 foot,
Yeah.
if they would bring them back with single car garages on them, maybe that would be fine.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
yes,
Sure.
it does.
It's reasonable.
Go ahead, Pat.
It's reasonable. I mean, yes, and that's,
But for
No, that is.
but for this rezoning, we don't talk about that until the preliminary plat, right?
Right.
So we just have
right. So
to
we don't, what we
decide.
do on the rezoning is, but what we would do on this rezoning, yes, you would say, look, we want to have 45-foot lots at the building line, and 45-foot at the building line, and if you can't make them all work, come with us at the final plat and we'll do this and that. But, yes, this is the time that you ask for the 45-foot.
And we would want additional design houses with
Different
doors.
additional designs, that's correct.
Okay,
And maybe some single car garage designs too.
All
And
right,
I'm not, I totally hear what Mr. Morris is saying, and I'm not opposed to asking for some type of buffering or leaving as many trees as you can or something. Unfortunately, none of us have that crystal ball as to what's gonna happen with those lots over there on
right.
the north side of all of this. In my crystal ball
Crystal
of
ball
thinking
will tell you.
in the long term that those homes are gonna stay over there for very long,
They're not.
I think somebody's gonna come and offer them a nice price, but I don't know that. I mean, I don't know that, so.
What would you say, Pat?
They will.
All right,
Just as a matter to mention, in considering this for the planning commission, in terms of requiring buffering, trees and additional, landscaping to the immediate north. The city will be paying for all that when it buys it back, when it requires the developer to build it, and then we increase the size of the road, the city will have to buy all the trees that we require the builder to put in, back.
Why?
Because the city will be the one buying the land to widen the road.
Purchasing the right of way.
What he's saying.
No, the trees aren't gonna be on the
This is
easement.
in the land between the
No, they'll
north
be on
and this
the-
property.
I understand what you're saying. You're just saying the total number of dollars is gonna be the same either way. I understand that.
What I mean is.
We're not
we
buying
have to buy the
specifically-
right of way.
Yeah,
We
we're not
have to widen
specifically-
the right of way.
Right, I got it.
And we may have to tear down some of those trees to widen the
But you're
street.
talking about Ridgeview.
Yeah.
I'm not
But
talking
the other
about
thing
Ridgeview.
is,
We're talking about the north side.
she's
I'm
talking,
talking
yeah.
about the north side of this property that's between this property, the north side of this property, and the homeowners on the north side of it.
Protecting the real character of their property.
Yes.
And perhaps I've read it wrong. I'm looking at the plat and thought I'm seeing a street there, but
There
I got
is.
it wrong.
No, it's,
Okay.
There's no
there's a
street, my
potential-
bad.
There's no,
There's a potential. if
There's
we
a
had that-
likelihood,
if we
there's
had
a
that
likelihood of
wall,
having.
that there could be a street there, but my thought, it would be at the responsibility of a developer.
I understand. There's a
That's
likelihood of a street. I got you.
But it would be,
Because he's just talking about the
Oh.
existing trees.
Right.
Not that we're putting more in, he just doesn't want the existing trees to be torn down for something that we don't know what's gonna happen next door. Am I right?
well, and now we have someone representing a property owner that we don't know if that adjacent property owner wants those trees there.
that's right.
absolutely, right, I'm saying, I don't have a yay or nay for that. If they get left, that would be great. If they,
You can put them on my corner, just water,
can we dig them up a trees pile?
so people don't have to look into my house and my garage.
I-
Great, put them over there.
I think I'd have a bigger issue with this if this was homes that were 40 feet away.
There's no buffer in the plan.
You're right, there's not, there's absolutely not,
there's a street.
but I guess I just ask the developer to be as careful and as cautious as they can to not tear down as many trees as they can not tear down.
And then you have the homeowners later too, we can do it. Because they wanna look at that nice rural property from their back porch.
The public hearing is closed.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's okay. All right.
my bigger concern, honestly, is that 40-foot lot.
Well, I think we have to put that, if that's what everybody wants here,
I was gonna say, but I don't know what these two are thinking.
would think that.
That's what I feel comfortable with, is encouraging us to do that, make the lots a little bit bigger. Not a problem with the RP one.
And Steph, and that's fine, we'll come back with it.
Scott, Rodolfo, what do you
Final
think?
plats and the revised preliminary.
245 and approve the RP1 and worry about the rest in the preliminary plat, final plat applications.
With the
They'd have to
buffer,
redo
if they can leave it.
Rodolfo?
I already-
Remember, this is
I already
zoning.
told you what I wanted earlier.
to 45.
45.
Yep.
So I think we just need a motion then. So we can
Okay,
move on.
let's see if we can, I don't know if I can do this, help me here.
And also,
I move,
you might wanna put in there a single family car, you'd like to just see a couple of drawings on that.
hang on, Doug,
Sure.
Darcy.
Yeah, Doug.
Darcy. Darcy, would you do that? Steve, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The single car is a big issue for the developer to go to single car, just the market they need demands the double car garage, so. You know, I think they'd be open more to a little bit wider lots before they would be willing to go to single car garages, so. I just want that to be clear that the developer doesn't think they can make this project work with single car garages.
Let me see it with double, cause on a lot of them, they were 3-car garages.
On,
What about
There's-
taking one of
there's
those
doubles
garage
in.
doors off?
Well, I think, and I think Cindy's point was also more of a mix of different types, you know, if the
yeah,
flats are
yes,
large,
different architecture, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, different,
a lot of-
And it was more of a push on a 40-foot,
right.
not on a
Yes.
45.
yeah.
Let me be clear, are we trying to get to 45-foot lots?
I think it's both.
At the building line, yes.
I think it's both.
At the building line, 45-foot lots, okay.
Yep.
I think that that's something that you're likely to have developer, no one's gonna build single car garages, because they won't be able to sell them. The only people that you'll be able to do that for would be, rental, on much smaller lots.
I just tossed out the idea of
Okay.
single cars on 40-foot lots if they got into a position where they had a handful, 5 lots left that could only work at a 40-foot lot, build front. If that would be something that would work for them, the planning commission had said that they would agree that they would listen to that or look at that, but not 100 lots at 40 foot.
I just wanna make sure we're not limited to having to put single car garages
I
in the
don't
development.
think
I don't think that's
we're,
our
Okay,
intent.
all right,
no, that's not our intent.
okay.
That's not the intent.
Okay.
I'll still have that discussion with him though, so.
Thank you, Pat.
So I think.
Okay, let's try this.
Yeah, try it.
Okay. I move to recommend that PCD 17, 2022, 16, oh, am I on the wrong one? I am, I skipped down one, sorry. Start over. I move to recommend PCD 16, 2022 to governing body with the exceptions of asking for more variety of home styles, preferably more doors toward the front than garage doors towards the front. Of a different variety, more variety. The bulk of the lot sizes at build line being 45 foot
Minimum.
minimum. And if push came to shove that they have 40 foot, handful of 40 foot, that they would build, show us some plans for single car or double car homes. 40-foot build front home, if they had a 40-foot build, that it would be,
I think if we just stick to the 45.
say-
stick 45? Okay,
I don't
I
think we
think
have
we
to
get
include,
over to,
we probably don't have to include the single car.
okay.
That's just my opinion.
Okay.
So restate it.
I think,
Mr. Sly.
She's got it.
PZD 16-2022. Move to recommend that to City Council with the exceptions of asking for more design styles of homes with door fronts more predominant than garage doors predominant, and asking for 45-foot build lot lines.
Minimum.
Minimum.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion that's been seconded to approve the rezoning application PZD 16, 2022 is presented by staff with the additional
Exceptions.
styles of homes, as Cindy mentioned,
That's good.
and the minimum build lot size of 45 foot. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 Motion passes 6-0. All right, the next one.
Thank you. See, that was pretty easy.
Thank you.
But Very good.
Thank you for your patience. Okay, the last one is preliminary plat, public hearing, PZD 17/2022, Clayton Properties, rezone RR to RP2. Mr. Burton, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Everything is the same, where this is 32.6 acres. There'll be 65 lots and 130 doors, or 130 units, and an additional one track. One thing that I didn't mention on some of the others is that,
Hey, Pat, I think I need to
Yes.
start over here and open it up to the public since it's a rezoning.
yes,
So it's a public hearing. I open it up and I ask if there's any conflicts of interest or ex parte communications. Everybody's saying no. And now you have the floor. Sorry, that's my fault.
oh, it's no problem. So all the information is the same. It's an RR asking to be proposed to an RP2, which are duplex. Or you can build R1 in an RP, a single family in an RP2 also, but in this case, they're asking for duplexes. 32 acres, 65 lots, 130 units or doors. The property is consistent with the regulations and intended use, meaning that in the comp plan, mixed residential uses is what the real intent is. Characteristics of the neighborhood, they started off as you just approved R1, then RP1, and now they're moving to an RP2, which is more predominant in the south. Surrounding neighborhoods is exactly the same. There's some rural residential houses out there. We still have to work on the street systems that are being planned. Current zoning, the only way they'll be able to build duplexes is to receive an R2 zoning, either an RP or a straight R2. In this case, they've asked for an RP to have a little smaller side setbacks as in the RP1. This is just a business model. You can see this suitability of the current zoning. They can't do it with the current zoning, so they're making the changes for that. The proposed zoning does allow them to build what they have presented as far as the duplex plan that they presented. There will be additional duplex plans coming, and we always have to submit them to the planning commission prior to them being constructed. But this is an idea of what they are proposing. Duplexes, we know how duplexes, 2 units, single building. Hardship would have to be addressed by the owner or applicant. And in the conformance of the comp plan, where you have mixed use and the standard old R1, a little tighter R1, then R2 and R3, R4, blah, 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 is being utilized here. Someday I hope that we can get over that stigma and we can place some duplexes right next to an R1 and things of that nature, but haven't got by there yet. The alternatives obviously is approved, and then we get to the governing body May 26th, deny, and we go to May 26th, or do a continuance on it, and we would tell the applicant. Staff recommends approval of this to the governing body. I think that's all I have, sir.
And this is, the number of lots is 65 and 130 units, correct?
That's correct.
32 acres, okay. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Burton before, and I'll allow, if Doug wants to come up too, he can talk. If you don't have any questions, we don't have the public comment just yet. Yeah, we got the applicant and the staff present, and then I'll allow you to come up. Do you have anything to add? Nothing, okay. If there's no further now, we can actually have, if you wanted to come up and say something, you can. The what?
The lot size.
Yes?
What's the lot size?
Oh,
Would
you had a question.
And the reason for this
You
is,
can record it.
I know,
I know.
it keeps the record and we break
Yeah.
them down. So if you
Okay,
would
so
please
if
say your
the lot,
name.
Ann Simmons,
Thank you.
okay, with a lot size for the duplexes, wouldn't it be like double then? For the home? Like,
No,
so
we can
would it
bring
go
it
to
up.
90
We have a
if we're gonna be
picture
at
here of it.
45?
Normally, we can bring it up here too, but, let me see.
And I mean, I don't even live in the city, but
Well,
you never know, I could one day.
you don't have to, you've still got one potential building on there, so you still have more space, even though the lot size is a little bit smaller because you're saving 10 feet in between the two buildings. Does that make
When
sense?
two like the two duplexes, like a
Right.
duplex. I gotcha. Okay.
Let me address the lot size.
Yeah, you
Sure.
can, Doug, absolutely,
They're bigger.
if you wanna come up.
So these have an 85-foot minimum width, so plus you're gaining the side yard set, since there's not a separation between the units, you're gaining, 10 feet in the middle compared to what we were just talking about, so, really you're getting a wider unit, I guess half of 85, 42 and a half minus 5, so 30, 37 and a half compared to what we were just talking about with 30-foot wide, so essentially it's fitting the same as what we're doing almost on the 50-foot lots, just a couple feet short
Okay. Thank you.
for each half.
Yep. Thanks, Doug.
Now, on these ones, is there gonna be, and we should have brought it up earlier, but what about storms? Are they slab houses, do they have basements, or is there gonna be a storm shelter?
Yeah, there's
Well-
no. Go
Hey,
ahead.
sorry, Pat, they will be slabs, but they will be built with storm shelters,
In the houses as
in,
well?
in the houses have basements, don't, even on all the houses have basements.
But these will have, the excuse me, duplexes will have the storm shelters in the garages.
Are they in the garages?
No.
Okay.
It depends. Sometimes they put it in their closet, or they'll do a one room. It won't be. It's not just a set aside room for that. It's a utilization of. I've seen them in restrooms, and I don't remember if these are the ones that are in the closet or.
Pat, they answered it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Not having your eyes here is hurting you.
Yeah, and, these plans on the duplex still in development there, but, whether it's in storm shelter in the garage or closet, it's still up in the air, but we intend to have one.
As long as it's
Okay.
in there, I'm happy.
That's kind of what,
That makes me happy. I don't care where you put it.
yep. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
just concerned about safety of the residents.
Especially after this week of weather.
Yeah, tornado.
That's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Well, I hope that you understand. I hope that, they still have to make a good product to sell. Some of the earlier comments and running down a company that, this is a Warren Buffett company, and they have done a really good job in the city of Spring Hill. And this just goes to show you, that you didn't have to ask for it. It was already something being in the plan, for people, for the safety of people, so.
Yeah, thank you, Pat, well noted. Is there any other discussion? I really don't have any other questions or.
No.
So I think I'm just looking for a motion if everybody's okay with that.
I
Did
the
I
hard-
close it to the public? I can't.
No.
You closed it.
Okay, let me, I did close it, right?
No.
Okay, I closed it to the public. Now,
We've done two.
is there any other discussion or anything? Okay, go ahead, Cindy, you were saying.
No, I did the hard one, I said.
Yeah, you did.
Motion to approve rezoning application PZD 17-22 as presented by staff.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, it's been seconded to approve the public hearing rezoning application PZD 17-2022 as presented by staff. Start the vote on the left.
Aye.
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 A motion passes 6-0.
Who seconded that?
Scott.
Scott.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. And the last item is the preliminary plat, Parkside Landing, plat 18-2022. I'm not sure what to do about that since we changed.
Sure, so I would recommend going ahead with all the comments and then continue it to either, we're gonna have a special meeting this month, which I was gonna ask about anyway. Either continue it to a special meeting or the next, regular scheduled meeting. And in conjunction with that, changing the lots and all, but do a full discussion of it, and they might have a final plat ready at the same time.
Okay.
So let's go, if you don't mind, we just go ahead with a full discussion, and then.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, excuse me, Mr. Burton. Can we do some housekeeping on this one though first, real quick?
No, that's what I'm saying, this is.
No.
Yes, we want to do a full discussion and do housekeeping on it, quote unquote.
No, Mr. Burton, look on your,
Yes.
look on your, title sheet. And it says, follow down under site area, 134 acres. And then
Uh-huh.
it says RP3. We don't need RP3 on there, correct?
That's
That's why I said. we
Right,
can
that's
do
a,
some
Yep,
house
yep,
cleaning,
that's definitely
housekeeping.
house cleaning.
Let's take that RP, can we take that RP3 off of there, please?
Oh, sure.
Thank you. That's all I want to do on house cleaning.
And, and that, that.
I know it's a copy paste error or backspacing error, but.
It is. No, we just didn't do it correctly.
No, it's,
No problem.
Okay,
the girls are overworked. It's okay, but let's just get it off of there,
No,
please.
and I have to tell you, they did most of all this for me.
I'm giving them credit. Let's just
appreciate
get
that.
it off of there before it gets forward to the council.
all right, thank you. You can go ahead, Mr. Burton.
Okay, it's, the zonings that we had spoke about, the R1, the RP1, and the RP2. It's the 134 acres. We've gone through pretty extensively in the zoning of what is what we would like to see changed and the requirements. I want to note a few things though on this for everyone. So the first note would be is that they are showing a connecting link through the park that connects into the existing platted subdivision to the west. That's a very important connecting link due to it gives access through there. And then what we've discussed is this would be where the city would form some sort of parking in that area so that people could park, unload their bikes or their children or dogs or whatever the case may be. They have also taken track F and put it right beside there where there may be where it's conjunction to the park, where it may be a point of where the parking goes there, and maybe the city in some future date would take over track F. You can see they have a nice clubhouse pool facility with soccer and a lot of open space there. They have several tracks, track C's, along 207th and Ridgeview. And then they have a track up to the north that is track A and track B that gives some additional buffer to all the homes when the street is widened out. So overall, with this plat, the city receives the required amount of right-of-way to execute widening the streets, and then also a little bit of protective buffer on Ridgeview there, and as well as on 207th Street. Other than that, as far as report-wise, I think that, there's can be some more discussion on what you would like to see on the lots. And with that, remember, a preliminary plat does not go to the council. So if you so choose to go ahead, and we can go through everything with it and then just table it to one of those dates, which it'd be we'd just say a special meeting or the regular meeting. And that way they know what they're working with, and they can bring it back, and probably my guess would be a final plat along with it. That's all I have.
Okay. I'm okay with Mr. Burton's suggestion on that. So I think part of it, we've already brought up, the minimum lot size on there, minimum 45 feet.
The build line.
The build line, exactly. Did you want to add anything to like he said, the building, the look or the styles, or I think you already talked a little bit about that, but they're going to bring some different ideas to us. I don't have anything a lot else. We kind of beat it to death on the other ones, but if anybody has anything to add, now's the time to add it.
I felt like I said everything when we were doing the preliminary, or when you're doing the rezoning of it. So, I mean, I'm, like I said, I'm good with the RP1, and look, I liked what going with the 45-foot build line. So that was what my concerns were.
Thank you. Is it anybody else?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. Does anybody have any? Cindy, have any?
I'm good.
Okay, I think then we could do that. We just look for a motion, right, Pat, to, well, wait a minute. We have to do the,
There was no.
There's no public hearing.
There's no.
public.
oh, that's right. This is a preliminary. Sorry, I keep forgetting.
You got in the habit.
We got past the public hearing. So I think we're just looking for a motion, similar to what Pat suggested, that we have our next meeting or special meeting, that we have them do
Or
these
the regular
adjustments.
meeting.
Pat, when were you thinking of a special meeting?
Well, I was trying to squeeze one in sometime in the next 2 weeks. And just because of the what we'll be receiving for the comp plan review. So, it could be the 19th, or any of the time. But what we'll do is we'll just say if we have a special meeting or the next regular scheduled meeting. Okay?
Let's do that. And we'll
Yeah.
also include something to the effect they can bring the final, you said
They
bring
can
the
do
final
that. They
plan?
can do that.
Preliminary
They
plan.
can do that anyway.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
they can do that anyway.
I just thought that, just to let you know, it's not really a waste of time. They'll still have
Okay,
work that they can do.
okay, so we're just looking for a motion for exactly that.
Hank,
Yes, did you want to come up?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Doug.
I guess we're just trying to figure out if we're trying to get to a special meeting ahead of next month's regular meeting or not. When, Pat, would you need a new, I don't know that, especially if we go to a special meeting, that we're gonna have enough time to get a final in, so, but even to
Yeah,
get
Doug,
this preliminary updated,
if-
when would you need to
if
update
you
a
want
preliminary
to-
by?
If you want to, that's fine. We're gonna have a special meeting anyway, not just because of this.
Okay, maybe we
So
can
if
talk
you can make
offline
it
then about when
fine.
you'd need it
If
in
not,
order to
right.
get it on there.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, well, thanks, Doug, for the timing.
But Doug, if the special meeting doesn't work, June 2nd would work?
yeah, I think we could definitely get something, like I said, I don't think it'd be the first phase of the final, but to get the, I guess from timing, Travis, do you,
Yeah, we just have to get an extension.
yeah, let's get it. So, I guess
Okay.
we need to do some discussions with the seller and everything and figure out how we.
I just don't wanna attach an either or date that doesn't work for you. So if we attach an either or, either the special meeting or the next regular
Yes.
scheduled planning meeting, June 2nd, will that
As
fit
long as-
you guys?
I mean, as long as it's both options, and we can talk to Pat about when we could get an updated preliminary to him.
Yeah, I think we just use the or, special meeting or the next regular meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Or whenever you're ready.
Yep. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I move that we table plat 1822 until the regular scheduled meeting of June 2nd or a special scheduled meeting to be determined.
Second.
Okay, we have motion's been seconded to, table the Parkside Landing plat 18/2022 until the next special meeting or regular meeting, or what fits the builder's schedule also. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. All right, thank you for everybody's patience. The next thing is really discussion. Mr. Burton?
Yes, thank you. What we have before you tonight is just what we've been trying to do ahead of, or in the past, is something new coming online. That will be a site plan for this lot 9 at Country Meadows. It's an industrial building that they want to build there. Amy, did you send this out to them?
They have it, it's on the screen.
Okay, thank you. So as you can see, it's an industrial building where they just are proposing it. They do fabrication work and I think they may do some. They're talking about a paint booth in there, a true paint booth where, you know, a fire department would approve it and it'd have all the filtering and all that. So what we wanted to do is just for you guys to take a look at it and see if there's anything that, you know, you need to talk about immediately before it comes to you as a site plan. So.
Just give us a minute here, we're looking at it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Where's the property located?
It's in Country Meadows, which is over there by the fireworks and event center,
Oh, yeah.
and where the hardware store's going to go as well.
Okay.
Lot 9.
This is for us. If you guys have any questions, we can answer.
So this is the color scheme you're looking at? Is it with the, Could you show us the color scheme there, Amy?
So, I'm not sure. Amy, is the applicant there?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so most of the discussion, or the discussion that we've had is also that, as you can see, the types of material that the applicant is wanting to use. So that's why we wanted to make sure that we brought everything to you and prior to the site plan approval.
So it doesn't really say on here what the material is.
Hold on, I'm gonna put it in your
Okay.
guys' folder. I'm sorry, I thought I had it in there. Oh. Does it not say on what's that site plan submittal that's in your folder under discussion?
No.
Okay, sorry.
I can explain it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's, this is Andy Gillard, I'm the owner of A&M Powder Coating, so we're gonna put here. It's gonna be a metal building, steel building, and for the 40% that you guys wanna have, like stucco or something like that, the GC suggested it's metal paneling that's textured like stucco. It's got a better longevity life, not to paint it. So that was his suggestion. Aesthetically, it looks really good. I tried to get a hold of a piece of it to bring. I couldn't get a hold of it in time because we just submitted this last week. But if that's something that you guys think sounds good, I can get a piece of it and bring it to show you. Otherwise, we can go with stucco. I just thought the metal stucco looked better. And you can get it in wood grain too. I'd rather have the wood grain. It just depends on price. We're getting prices now, but it would look better.
And that's what I explained to Andy, is that if there's any product that he was wanting to utilize besides what traditional stucco and stone and brick and or a combination, then he would have to supply it to you, and you would have to look at it and things like that. I do know he tried to get it, but we still have it at the next meeting. We will have to have it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember correctly, the building up there where the dance studio's at right now, they brought in panel walls of what they utilized on that, and you approved it. So, but we would not want to approve it without looking at it and all.
Yeah, I think we're probably okay with seeing what you bring in.
I haven't seen it in person yet either, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Whatever
I
you
might
bring-
not approve it. But it's more expensive than stucco by a little
Okay.
bit, but it's more aesthetically pleasing. But I'll definitely get my hands on it, and we can discuss. I can either bring it at the actual site plan review, or if you guys wanted to, if you had your special meetings, I could just bring it. You could
Okay.
open it then.
Okay, yeah, appreciate you being
That sounds
flexible.
great.
on it.
Yeah, whatever makes it easy.
It does look good.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions? Anybody have any questions for Andy at this point?
And there's actually not, we do powder coating, it's a powder, so it's not like car paint, like wet paint. So as far as the booths go, it's just normal, like, kind of like a HEPA filter cartridge. It's not something that goes expelled into the air outside or anything like that. There's, we also do sandblasting, because we gotta blast all the parts prior to painting them. So we'll have a dust collection system that filters all that air as well, so.
So is it heat activated or?
Yeah, so it'll be gas, natural gas for the ovens. Right now we're using propane. We're in Bucyrus. That's all we can get there. So
Okay, excellent, very good. I don't
You're
have
gonna be
another-
doing mostly commercial work, or?
honestly, most of my work is just walk-in customers, doing random
Okay.
car wheels, things, bracketry. But I do a lot of manufactured companies, brackets.
Excellent. Does anybody have any other questions?
No. I think
No, we
it's
appreciate you coming today and
I appreciate it.
waiting this long.
It's okay. We learned things. Hopefully mine was easier than some of the other ones.
And so did we. We learned something
Yeah.
too.
Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Did you
guys have any questions
All right, well,
on?
thank you guys
Hold on.
for that.
Hold on, Pat.
I wanted to bring up one more easy thing. So, we've got a, water detention in the back that we're proposing to, eliminate and use this waterway on the south end of the property. I don't know if you guys had any questions about any of that.
How does that work? Can you explain this? What is it? Just the water?
Yeah, it's a water runoff.
Runoff, okay.
Yeah, and I had talked, yeah, you know more about it than me. We had talked to Pat about it quite a bit, and no one knows why there's a water detention there when there's this waterway at the bottom. There's a tube that's supposed to go in there from the water runoff, and someone blocked it for some reason. And then they put this easement in. So we're just proposing to remove the easement and use it how it's supposed to be used. But
So, guys, what we'll do is, they have to work with engineering on that. And if engineering clears it, then he's all good. He can do what he is kind of proposing to do with it.
Gotcha. Okay, we probably don't need to talk about it at this point, but
No, it's really out of our wheelhouse. It's in engineering.
gotcha. Okay, well, thanks for all the detail and waiting so long.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. And we look forward to working with them. They're very nice and prompt, my lands. So to go through the rest of the discussion, items, the final plat of Cummins Fifth was approved, as well as the site plan for Mitchell's RV Storage East. And then also Oakwood Townhomes and the final plat site plan, final plat of Boulder Springs, 6 it should be, I think.
It's 4.
4.
Yeah, 4.
Okay, well, 5 usually I just use 4 of those on Roman numerals, but that might be a different one.
So that's a good one.
And then site plan,
Educate him.
2 Rivers passed, and I guess you're gonna have to. And so I want to tell you, on the silo of 2 Rivers, it's already gone up. I don't think that it looks bad at all, and they're utilizing it. They're doing quite a bit of work already out of our area. I spoke with the guys the other day, and they're just surprised at how many people pull in now and talk to them about pools and things of that nature. We have quite a few more lots that are coming on here before too long. Those will be on the west side of the tracks, literally on the west side of the tracks, on the old Wiswell property. We're excited about that. That is where we received a base grant to do a street through there as well. And I don't know, probably in the next few meetings, we'll have another 1,000, maybe 1,200 preliminary platted lots to present to you. The RFPs, we've got those released to go out. As a matter of fact, I've already spoke to 2 firms. I talked to them yesterday. So we might have on the special, that's why I'm looking for this special meeting, we might have a chance to go ahead and start reviewing some of those, because I'd really like to get that in play in June, sometime in June, either the regular meeting or a special meeting in June to get it going. And then I've written out some items on what the Planning Commission is expecting out of us as far as public hearings. Obviously we'll have those, but do you want to have a committee also of some of the public? So those are a few items that we'll have to get answered also. It does not affect the RFP or the process. It's just, or the firm that we will go with. It's the process, more or less. So that's all I have. I apologize for not being there tonight in person, but you wouldn't really want me coughing on you and all, so.
Pat, if May's filling up fast with all the graduation stuff, if we can pick a day,
Right.
we probably should pick one.
Well, we don't have to. I mean, we can wait till the regular scheduled meeting, and I'll just go ahead and send out information to you guys, and then we'll just keep that going, the information chain, and then we'll be really ready at the regular scheduled meeting.
Okay, that's,
Because I do agree. That's why I said I don't know what day is going to work for you guys.
that works too. Yeah,
Okay.
there's not a
Then
lot
let's
of
do
days that
that.
work for us in May and June.
Okay, let's do that.
May's,
Okay, I think that's it then. Is there any other announcements? And Pat, we appreciate you not coming in and coughing on us. And we hope you get feeling better.
I will someday.
Hopefully soon. Is there any other announcements from commissioners or staff? I guess then we just need a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I move that
Thank
we
you, Pat.
adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion. It's been seconded to adjourn. Start the voting left. Aye.
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 hi.
Motion passes 6-0.